Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 61 entitled Conclusion and or Synthesis. Okay, so we're not gonna proceed like usually in 4 steps. We're just gonna try to see as a summarize the different key elements of what we saw previously, that's to say within almost 1 year, okay, one cycle, okay, to try to put together the different pieces of the puzzle for you to see the big picture. Okay, why? Because once again, all these keys are independent. You can watch them independently, but you can see also there is a common thread from the beginning till the end. And also, this is what I explained many times, but it's for you to refresh your mind, and especially if you just join this program, which is a program, structured recently and or at the middle path. Okay, so this is the holistic approach. Okay, this is holistic. What does it mean? Holos means entire, global. Okay, so it is supposed to be a global vision, but holistic approach means different thing. It means that this is not linear, it's not vertical, it's not horizontal. It is supposed to entangle, okay, different elements with let's say multidisciplinarities and also transversalities, okay, crossing different elements, because the approach that we have in our modern world, modern civilization, in our educative system and so on, everywhere in the world, is to analyze things according to disciplines, according to little cells, according to different matters, okay, like different rooms for which we just see the perspective from the room, okay, look out onto the window, okay, but we don't see the big picture. What I try to say is that it's like having only science is one room, and then, or one house, okay, one building, and then art, and then religions, and then spirituality, and then, okay? But even within science, you still have some subsets. You still have physics, biology, and so on, so on. Okay, so medicine and so on. Okay, so this is important to analyze with crossing the different elements, because, you know, this is Einstein who said, you cannot solve the problems with the same mindset which created them. Okay, what does it mean? Thinking out of the box, as we say in English. It means literally that we have to, let's say, to enlarge our perspective, okay, to think out of the box. But for this is also important to do a benchmark and crossing with different perspectives. That's why the approach, I say previously, of in states, most of the time, they try to ask, very high-level scientists for a certain experience. They ask for people without any knowledge. Okay, why? Because with the new eyes, that's why sometimes a trainee in a company and or the kids, they ask some innocent questions, allowing us to say to ourselves, yes, I forgot about this alternative perspective, option, and so on. So that's the point. Okay, for you to visualize as a symbol, we could consider the holistic perspective and dimension like the symbol of the flower of life. Okay, I invite you to type flower of life on internet. You will see. What is it concretely? These are cycles entangled, okay, a little bit like Olympic Games, except that is endless, okay, and it's fractal holographic. What does it mean? It means that it is getting smaller and smaller and bigger, okay? So it's starting from one cycle, and then you have 6, let's say, petals, and then 12, and then 24, and so on and so forth. Okay, so entangling, why? Because interconnected, okay? It means that when you talk about something, necessarily, it's like if you have an analysis from reading a Wikipedia page, for instance. You have hyperlinks. You just press on it, and then you go on another element. So either you go linearly, okay, and you read basically, and or every sentence you can deepen, okay, something else. Okay, so this is the goal, is to cross different elements to enlarge the perspective and to have a new result. This is the principle of synergy, okay? The approach of this program, I try to tell you, is based off what I baptize TIP. T-I-P, TIP like an advice, and also theory, intuition, practice. What does it mean? For instance, you want to learn cuisine, okay? You learn from the books, from the recipe, from the course, and so on. Okay, first. Then you put into practice, okay? It's too burned, it's not enough, it's so-so, then it's okay, and then it's good, and then it's excellent, and then it's delicious, then it's divine, okay? By experience, okay? You put into practice what you learned previously. And eventually, the third step is intuition. Intuition is when you gather some theory plus practice and experience thereby. And then you can innovate. You can propose your own recipe, or you can start from an existing recipe for which you modify, you improved, or you just change because you prefer this taste and so on. So that's the point. And initiating is that, okay, the intuitive approach. Then whatever the order, either you do all of them, either you can also start with intuitive dimension. This is what I say when I do most of the time. When I do a key, for example, or a book, usually I empty my mind and I just write different elements from scratch. Okay, even if in the past I already thought about and so on, I try really to start from scratch. And then I'm gonna do it maybe for a few days. Okay, I sleep and then I come back on it. And actually, after, I'm gonna see, for example, what I had in my practice, my experience of life, and what I wrote before, and so on, eventually to enrich it. And then I'm gonna compare with what is already existing, some papers, some articles, some movies, some books, and so on. And I combine all this, okay? So, but then whatever, if you are more intuitive and you don't need you need notice for electronic device, that's fair enough as well. Some people are like this. They just go on the new mobile and they just try like this by, fine tuning. They just find the abilities, the features, and so on. Okay. Then we can consider if we had to split this program with 3 tomes, okay? 3, it's not chapter, it's more series, okay? Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, okay? So split with 20 keys every time. So the first one is what I consider from the first one to the key 20, the basis, okay? Theory and practice. Okay, these are for me the foundations. Okay, that's why I am synthesized into a book. Okay, which is Master Key that you can have for free and download on my website. Concretely, what is it? These are, you know, the 20 most important pillars for understanding life, existential things, okay? So I resume with, in 4 steps, 1 word, but it's not evocative for some people if you are not aware and if you don't know about 1 word, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, just your own definition, but not all the perspective beyond. 1 word, 1 sentence is a little bit more evocative, but not enough. 1 paragraph, 4 or 5 sentences, and for a page, most of the time, of 1,000 words. Why? And 1,000 words is what I explain in these different videos. Okay, so between 30 minutes till 1 hour. Okay, so this is this. Okay, so the first one is considering more theory. Okay, the foundation. The second season from 21, key 21 to 40 is more, let's say, practical essentials. These are tools, basically, is to implement in your daily life. Okay, this is what I baptize the holy style of life. Holy style, the style, holistic style of life, lifestyle. This is a global vision, and also holy, with the playing on with the Y, because normally is I, and because as a switch, I is I am, I am, and the Y is not only questioning, is also the Holy Grail. Well, anyway, it's just symbolic, but this is more holy, is like sacred. This is to perceive a spiritual dimension almost in every area. It's contemplate, open up the temple within your daily life, okay, to make things and life from ordinary into extraordinary life. That's the point. Okay, so these are for me really, really important ones, and probably in a certain by order is the most important series for me, the second one. But it was important to start with some elements first. Okay, that's why it has been in this order. The third season, these are more psychology, sociology, philosophy, but still practical. Okay, practical. Okay, so these are tools for introspection, personal introspection, personal analysis, for you to have some tools for you to understand you better eventually, and to understand better your environment, your network, the people, the world in general, okay? In order to be peaceful with that, to be peaceful with yourself, to be, let's say, in harmony, and thereby to try to make more fluid the relationship in general and communication and so on, okay? So it's more for you to dig into your intuitive personal dimension, introspection for yourself, and then also a kind of analysis of the other people in order to be in symbiosis, that's to say, to match with their expectation and yours as well, your needs and so on. This is what we saw. So these are the three main pillars, the three main series. Then we're gonna see the different elements. But before that, I would like to precise that there is also 2 keys in between the season 1, between season 1, season 2, and then from season 2 to season 3, 30 keys for being happy. Okay, and just as an aside, this is really funny because this also is available in Sage, Passage, Utopia, a book available on my website for free, depicting also even more 65. Why am I precising that? The goal is not necessarily to apply all of them, of course. Only 10 of them, only 20, okay, but even 10 of them change your life radically. But most of people, they don't care. Why? Because happiness is like a little bit twee, you know, naive, like, it's okay. And actually, this is the most important thing. If you see philosophy, psychology, let's say even spirituality, what's the quest? The quest of unity, of peace, of salvation, of harmony, of happiness. That's basically the most important thing. Those who are happy and not necessarily spiritual and so on, and those other, they are full of frustration, being supposed to be religious but always complaining, judging and so on. What's the best? It's up to you to decide. But so that's important, because this is the same thing for what we're gonna explain with the different practice. These are essential. Second aspect, and then I will go one by one, key by key. I talked 2 times about nature. I'm not saying the same thing, but because I really wanted to emphasize these important elements. Yes, nature is a part of the game. Nature, it cannot be fragmented fragmented from us. Mother Earth feed us. We are disconnected from this energy, okay, in our modern civilization, modern society, for food, for the energies and so on. And that's why maybe we are so low in terms of energy, and a lot of people, they feel frustrated, not necessarily fulfilled and so on. Okay, so this is not a detail. It's probably one of the most important thing, and few people perceive it like this. Okay, this is Epicureanist. Okay, Epicure. Okay, it is most of the people think it's only the materiality, good food and so on. No, not only. It is the good alignments with verticality and horizontality, so down to earth, okay, good food, good sex, good entertainment, happiness, and so on. Okay, and also with verticality, the deep spirituality and so on. Okay, I'm not saying that you need spirituality or to be happy. It's not that, but most of the time, the disconnection that we have is due to this. Okay. And last point I wanted to mention before going one by one is the fact that key 4, key 34, and key 60 is love. Okay, all the need is love. Yes, it's true. Is with different perspective. The first one is self-love, unconditional love. The second one as well with other perspective. Then the last one is more for couple and so on. Okay. Why? Because if it's 3 times, it's not that I wanted to repeat, but it's probably because it's the most important thing. Love is the cement of life, of the living, and so on. There is 2 energies, fear and love. That's it. Okay? The duality is this. So, it's the same thing that you have in Islam, for instance, just as a metaphor for you to understand the parallel, 99 words for God. Okay, Allah. And 4 of them is merciful, okay, with different, let's say, degree, but 4 times. So we can think there are 99 possibility. Why using 4? Probably to insist on the fact that this is the most important thing, subtly. Okay, it means that, yes, according to this God, the most important aspect is the fact he can forget, and he can is merciful, and this is the most important thing, because it's a void to see, to perceive God in the sky with the beard judging us and so on and so on. I'm talking about in general, not necessarily focusing on Islam, but it's the point is that if I use 3 times love, is probably because it's one of the most important thing. So let's try to see one by one. Okay, so at the beginning we started with duality. Duality, why? Because this is the pillar. To understand the existence, we are apparently coming from the absolute, the big wall, big wall, whatever we call it, or him or her or us, whatever. We have been fragmented from that. That's why we say in English, or in Latin, to exist. Existing means literally to separate, okay, to fragments, okay, to separate from this big whole, for this connection, the absolute, okay. That's why in the Genesis, probably that it means that literally they were in the paradise, in the absolute, and they have been obliged to fragments, okay, from the garden of heaven. Okay, so as I told you, the metaphor is life would be, the living life would be like a painting. The painter would be God, let's say. The characters, the landscape and so on would be also God. How God can admire his own masterpiece? By splitting up the different pieces of the masterpiece, okay? For to be peaceful in a certain, but to step back, okay? Otherwise, if you are the face into the painting, you cannot see anymore. That's why we embody here, down to earth, in the matter, in the low density, in the low vibration. Why? for that, for experiencing this separation to reconnect. You know, it's the principle of alchemy. You destroy, you open, you clean up, and third, you transmute. Okay, that's the principle of that. That's why I started with duality. Just as an aside, I didn't say as a symbol today. You can see this is backside, it's backwards. It's my garden of heaven, because this is the garden from my childhood, and for which each inch, okay, each meter has a history, have many history. We did many things like merry-go-rounds. I buried many birds when I was kids and so on. So there is many things, entertainment and also deep consideration. We play many games. I had my first perception of inflation with the currency recreated with the leaf of the trees and so on, that I explain in different books. But anyway, just to say that this is, I invite you in my home, my secret garden, and my garden of heaven in a certain extent. Okay, why also? Because it is a symbol. You know, this is Marcel Proust who said the real journey consists in having new eyes and not necessarily going far, is the point. Here is my garden of heaven. In Bali is another garden of heaven. Some people here hate that. Some people over there hate their own one, okay? And what does it mean? Sometimes we go very far to find the seventh wonder in the world, despite the fact that the eighth one is in front of us and or within us, okay? Short aside. So duality, we segment, we fragment. Then the meaning of life. The meaning of life, I could have started with the first one, but the meaning of life implying the fact probably that this is the goal to be fulfilled. And who say fulfilled means that you recompose, you reassemble you put together the different pieces and you reconnect to something higher. That's why the third one is unity. Unity is a kind of reconnection to something higher. Fourth, key four was unconditional love. Okay, why? Because this is the cement of a new loving yourself, being grateful for life in general, everything. Everybody play perfectly once his own roles and so on. This is this. It doesn't mean that you love everybody, but at least you respect everybody. You understand them through empathy and so empathy for the complexion and so on. That's the point. Then the living God. Okay, but to try to explain the concept and with different perspective, but it was tough also because I don't want necessarily to have some proselytism. I don't want to impose my perception and so on. That's why. But then thereby, this is the sixth. Key six is, okay, what's the experience that you have with God or not? Maybe you don't have. But okay, God is something out, within, inside, as we say, insiders. Okay, it means this is supposed to be inside. Okay, or at least the quests. But it was the key six. Then the middle way, the middle path is a good equilibrium, a good balance in life. Okay, to avoid extreme, to avoid necessarily to be a Buddhist monk in Everest and so on, in the mountain and praying 10 hours a day and fasting all the time. No, it doesn't mean that. It's just a good balance, okay? To avoid frustration in parallel of that, extreme excess makes less, as I say quite often. Okay, then apocalypse. Apocalypse is not necessarily linked to Christianity, not at all. Is etymologically speaking in former Greek, it means literally unveil, okay, to take out the veil of illusion. This is the part of Maya for Hindus. It means that literally, but this is physics, your eyes can see only, the colors of the rainbow. Beyond, you cannot infrared, ultraviolets, Wi-Fi, radars, waves, and so on, FM radio and so on. You cannot see. Okay, so we are limited. Okay, what we see is just a fragment. It's just an illusion. Only for that, physically speaking. Beyond of that, even the invisible world, if we believe in it, because it's more subtle. But beyond of that is also the notion, illusion of our society, for instance. Okay, the economical system, then probably the nature, what we destroy our planet within the different species and so on within half century. This is just terrible to think about that. The society, do a survey, you will see that probably 80% of the people feel incomplete, okay, like not fulfilled completely, despite the fact that most of the time they have everything concerned the comfort and on the materialistic perspective. So it shows there is something missing. Okay, so the key point is to realize in a certain extent, but then not to be angry, not to be frustrated, but to say, okay, this is a statement, I don't want that, so I build something else, for instance, for myself, at my own scope, and that's it. Not necessarily to be a revolutionary and to change the world. Be the change that you want to see in the world, but change yourself first and at your own scope. That's the point. But not to be in the frustration. It's just a way, fine-tuning, just to see the difference between what you are deeply, your deep I am, and your expectation. Then it's key 9 is ego. Ego, it's the personality. Personality, I say many times, persona in Latin, means the mask, okay? Because it's from the theater. In the past, it was silent theater, so you put a mask of happy to show that you're happy and so on. So the different masks are due in the heritage of our parents, the education, educative system, the school, the culture, the religion or not, and so on and so forth. Okay, you have been shaped like the rock has been shaped with the sound, with the wind, the water, and so on. It's the same thing for. So are we the fruit of the shape? I mean, the result is the shape of the influence, the impact of other people, the thought of other people, and or we are truly what we are thinking. That's the point. Okay, so and the goal is that know thyself and you will know the secret of God and the universe. It means this. Okay, then cleaning or not. Okay, cleaning, what does it mean? It means, do you feel frustrated? Do you feel in harmony with that or not? If you feel in harmony, fair enough. Okay, if not, maybe there is things to clean up. We all have stone in our backpack. Okay, what does it mean? It means that's trauma from the childhood, frustration, problem of self-confidence, all this. Okay, so clean up this. Then clean up the lineage, for instance, the family heritage and so on and so forth. Eventually, if you believe in it, the karma from previous lives. If you finish a life by being a dictator and you didn't clean that, probably you still have some links emotionally and energetically speaking and so on and so forth. That's the point. That's the principle of karma. Karma is that you can clean up the past to be more in harmony now and to set up a better future. That's the point. Then reconnection. It was the notion of this is the kind of what's happening now. We see a lot of things in surface. What does it mean? It means it's artificial hyperconnection. Okay, social networks and so on. We have thousands and thousands of contacts, but we feel most of the time lonely. Okay, so that's the point. Also, the quest of the buzz, the zapping. Everything should be pre-matched. Okay, and easy to access and so on. Yes, but even for spirituality and so on, for psychology, self-development and so on, it can take one life, a few years, one life, several lives even, okay, to find the true self, okay, the true I am. So I don't think it works like this, okay, and what the society tried, and especially in spirituality, for me is a little bit cheap, and it's important to be careful about that, the artificial connection. To aspire to a deep connection, which is not the pleasure, which is outward, but which is inward, and the notion of fulfillment is completely different from pleasure. Okay, is when you feel in harmony with yourself. Then whatever the comfort you have, whatever the, let's say the number of the amount of friends and so on, you don't care about that. Okay, that's the point. Then we saw key 12, energy. Why? Because everything is energy. This is not me who say that. This is Einstein who say there is no matter, literally, open quote, quote mark. There is no matter. What we call matter is some energy from which the vibration have been highly reduced to be possible to our senses. Okay, I insist, there is no matter. And so this is just the vibration. So what we call density is just low frequencies of vibration, purely simply. So your state of mind impact the reality in the world. That's the point. Then nature. Well, no need to talk about this, but because nature is also energy. Okay, energy. So of course, if we destroy it all the time, we feel this this notion of when we eat. If we kill animals, we don't. The harvests are just with pesticide everywhere and so on. We affect our health, but also our energy, and thereby our energy. Okay, so this is chicken and egg all the time. So that's why it's so important. Then key 14, transcendence. What does it mean? Transcendence means that you, by the fact to be completely fulfilled, you reach higher results than expected, than your human condition. Okay, so that's really the point. And the transcendence is concretely a notion of synergy. Okay, space-time. Why is so important? Because we are always, let's say, pressurized with the pressure of the time management all the time. That's to know how does it work. Space-time, space and time, space-time consciousness normally. Okay, there is only now, and there is only space between both. Okay, that's why the key 16 to understand principle, there is only now here, and nowhere if you switch the W. Okay, that's the point. It means that there is nothing more than now. The past doesn't exist anymore. In his own now here, and the future also, probably with superposition of different futures. Okay, so, but that's the point. Okay, so I invite you to watch a video if you didn't. But the present time is so, the present is a gift. And by the way, pre-sent means, implies that it has been sent previously. You understand? It's like playing, let's say, playing a role in a movie. You need an orchestration, scenario, let's say decorum, and so on and so forth. Resonance, what does it mean? As above, so below, and vice versa. What does it mean? It means that the smallest, this is fractal holographic. What does it mean? It means that the small part impact the big pattern. Okay, this is the Indra's net in Hinduism. If you see the net of a net with a bit of water from a spider, each drop, let's say, reflects the entire pattern. Okay, to make it short, this is like your genes. Okay, all your genes contain your own genomes. What does it mean? Contain the whole DNA, the whole DNA program that you have within the whole body. Okay, so is reflecting all the time. That's why this is resonance. To make it shorter, so this is the butterfly. Okay, in Asia, creating by amplification a tornado in Europe or in States and so on. Okay, that's the point. So the smallest effect impact the big picture. That's why we always say be the change that you want to see in the world, because this can already affect, of course, your network, your scope, your family, and so on. But in parallel of that, even sending some current of energy in favor of a change. That's the point. Okay, this is resonance, butterfly effect, basically. Consciousness. Consciousness, we try to explain the difference between consciousness with a capital C and a small c. Individual consciousness and collective consciousness. What is it? It's like if we were embodying an alveolus, okay, a part of the cosmic breath, the cosmic, let's say, lung, okay? That's the point, okay? So, magic, actually, this everything is magic in the sense that everything is somatic. It means marketing is magic. The word is magic. This is what Freud said. At the beginning, the word, the language, and magic was two things combined. Okay? So when you say to a kid, you are useless, you are stupid, and so on, if he believes in that, he will create all his life according to that. This is magic. Okay? If he refused, he blocked this notion of magic. Okay, so that's the point of magic, but it is a little bit deeper than this. Then initiation, key 20. He was trying to explain that everything is initiatory. Everything can be an experience and a source of lesson. And the word with all experience, we experiment life as to see how we react according to an energy, an event, an encounter, and so on with some people and so on. And until everything is peaceful, until everything is clean up, and it doesn't mean that you love a dictator, not necessarily, it means you are peaceful with this. Why? Because you can understand this has been traumatized as a kid and so on. It doesn't mean that you excuse, but at least you forgive. Okay? That's the point. Then we saw, so it was the first pillar, the first season. The second season was more down to earth, more practical. Meditation. Meditation, medium in Latin means center and also the vehicle. So it means centripetus and also centrifugal. Okay? What does it mean? It means that you inward, okay, and then outward. You feel in harmony individually, and then you can expand. Okay, but meditation for me is as much as important as breathing. Okay, literally. Okay, so it's open. You empty your mind, and then you can have access to creativity, the akashic record, the collective and thinking, collective and consciousness. This is the point, to be calm and to access and to download some information potentially, and also it's to visualize by somatization, co-creation, law of attraction, and so on. So meditation is essential. So I try also to show different schools and so on. Mindfulness is the materialization, is the techniques of enjoying the present, which is a gift. Keep this in mind, the present, which is a gift. Okay, so you honor the gift that you receive every single second. Okay, present. Okay, so it means that you are literally absorbed with what you are doing currently. Okay, punctually. Okay, you are doing. You don't think about the past. You don't think about your future. You are fully, and this enlarge your perspective drastically. And also you can reactivate your past later on with the notion to remember. Remember, you reactivate your members. That's the point. Okay, breathing allows to create fluidity in your body, in your cells, the chi, the vital energy. And also the connection, the neurons, the neurologic connection, okay? And beyond of that, it allows you to have some altered states of consciousness. So this is also very important. Food, okay, if you you have a lot of knowledge regarding spirituality, self-development and so on, okay, and in parallel of that you just eat like junk food all the time, and you drink and you smoke and you take drugs, don't be surprised if you don't evolve as you wish, probably. Okay, so food is the main source of energy. Okay, so when you eat fear, okay, an animal which has been killed, suffering and so on, even a plant suffering or with a lot of pesticide and so on, you eat that. You eat literally low vibration, and then it affects your body in general and your personal development and your let's say spirituality and so on. Detox is good sometimes to take a break and also to clean up physically, so there is different techniques for that. Then we saw also the importance of the physical activity. It's not a detail, okay? I know that in Western world we present yoga very often as a kind of aerobic, okay? Yoga, yog in English, okay, coming from Sanskrit. It means unites, okay? Unified your mind, your body, and your spirit, okay? So is deep, okay? And for a spiritual, I mean, in Hinduism, Buddhism, they cannot consider that you don't have a physical activity. This is a normal process for honoring our loan, which is we inherit our body. Nature, once again, in a practical way, it's good to know that nature is important, but going to nature regularly with a pleasure to be more connected to that. The inner child, look at this. The inner child is this, is reactivate your capacity to marvel at life. Wow! For nothing, for observing ants, for observing bees and so on, the kids. And this is a source of admiration, source of inspiration as well, and happiness, basically, okay? All the great genius, Da Vinci, Archimedes and so on, all of them, they had their naturally their inner child active, okay? This is crucial. This is very important for a source of creativity for many things. Then we saw how is important a good quality of sleep. Okay? Sleeping is where you take also energy. Your unconsciousness work on many projects during your nights. You travel and so on. You are energetically affected and so on. If you're stressed all the time, you eat badly, and so you don't have a physical activity, you sleep bad, then you will not have enough energy. And thereby, that's normal if you don't feel fulfilled and in harmony. Everything is connected and chicken and egg, once again. Then the magic morning was a kind of like when you do music, you give the tone, okay? La, okay, let's go. And this allows just with this ritual, this rite for 30 minutes, for example, to be on a good trend, to be more, let's say, open, receptive, and so on for welcoming, the holiday. I mean, the holy day, the day, let's say, the entire day. Coaching was self-coaching, was more to give some structure, some methodology, some for realizing your projects. Okay, it's good to dreamer and doers. Okay, there is no favorable wind for those who don't know where they go. Okay, that's good to have an objective, but if you don't have any methodology, how to do? If you don't know, you are a sailor and you don't know how to act with the wind, it's useless. Okay, that's the point. And in this new era, many often I just hear that people just pray, and so that's great for them if they consider it's great. But down to earth, okay, the fact to be in the reality and to handle a project and so on is sent much more than a prayer is a practical prayer in a certain extent. That's why it's so important. The key 32 was the fact to get mad, to be crazy, to be nuts and so on sometimes. What the okay, you know the story. Okay, why? Because I don't believe in the sanitized perception of spirituality. Namaste, always. No, sometimes it's even healthy. It's like in a couple. Do you know a lot of couple they never argue? For me, when it's respectful, of course, this is healthy, and this is important to accept this moment. Like there is a storm, there is bad weather. It's not forever. It's just passing after a while. That's just you discharge your energy, shout, and after so good. Okay, next. You know, so this is all. This is to know yourself. Key 33 was forgiveness. Okay, forgiveness is to clean up. Okay, this is a purification. I explained quite well in the video, cultural references, with cultural references, as the fact that how you want to be peaceful if you still have a backbag of stones, very heavy and so on, because you are resentful and so on, and you hate people and so on. Maybe you have bad reason of that, but at least try to enlighten and to lighten yourself. That the point is light, with the notion of light, you know, and also weightlessness. Okay, so do it for yourself first, and then also for the humanity in general. But this is crucial. And once you clean up everything, it's a kind of detox emotionally, you can more set up the unconditional love again. Then what is important, key 35, this is also reprogramming. Okay, this is like a software program of the education of the ego and so on and so forth. That's the point. Okay, so then 36 is the visualization for the co-creation, for the law of attraction, seeing, feeling at the same time, and being grateful for being there already. Okay, activating the process of accessing to this vibration already coexisting and so on. Then enlarging the perspective, 37, was the fact to new activity and so on, to think out of the box, also very important. 38, creativity. Creativity is not necessarily designing for an architect, for fashion and so on. No, it's just to think out of the box, is to be innovative, creative for your couple, for your personal life, for education, for science, for medicine, for everything. So the new paradigm, the new age, the new era, whatever the word, will arrive with this new creativity. I told you many times, there is a book and I wrote Recreation. It's 125 techniques to be creative for everything, okay? And in 2030, 70% of the jobs don't exist yet. So we will have to create them. We will have to reanalyze, rethink all the aspects of the society if we think and we feel that we need to be more harmonious. Intuition, to be more connected to the collective in consciousness, to download some information, to feel things, to be more connected to the sixth sense, third eye and so on, to feel things, nature and so on. We receive information all the time if we are sensitive, if we are receptive. That's the point. State of consciousness, modified state of consciousness, we need that. Existentially speaking, we need that. It means that we need to be out of the ego jail, prison, egotic jail, the mind, and also the body. Out of body experience. All this quest, artificial quest through alcohol, drugs and so on, are indirect things like this, but of course there is some natural ways. Then third season we saw more, let's say, consideration, psychological, and so on and so forth. The first one was death. Why? Because this is one of the most important pressure that people have, consciously or unconsciously. If they don't believe in anything, in God, invisible, and so on, they can be afraid and frustrating, and or in parallel, if they believe in God and they think they did wrong, and they think that he is not, she is not, or it is not merciful, and so on, they will be punished, and so on. So, you know, this complexion. So death, we try to see that is not out, is even present, just to highlight the life in general and the living, and to be peaceful with that, and to see that the invisible world talks to us currently, daily. Okay, that's the point. Then the chaos. The technique of the chaos was the fact to project yourself on what you could lose without necessarily experiencing it. What does it mean? Sometimes you say, I don't like this, or these people, and so on. What about if the person die? Okay, that's the point. Or I'm tired, I have enough to work, and so on. Think about those who are cannot walk, basically, because they are handicapped, and so on. That's the point. Okay. The destiny, the fate, okay, destiny, is this something imposed? There is only one destiny, okay, like in the merry-go-round, and the kids, you know, they spy, they turn the wheel. It doesn't change anything because the wheel is prepared. Or there is different superposition of destiny, and we change according to our state of mind and our vibration. This is what Einstein said when he said that sorry, I try to find it back. Vibrates, something like, sorry. He was explaining that if you vibrate, the vibration that you want, you cannot not getting them. This is not philosophy, this is science. What does it mean thereby? It means that your state of mind impacts the current of energy that you send to the universe. And or you shift to one parallel world. Maybe there is the multiverse, referring to the key 15, 16, and 18. Okay, so notion 44 of quality, quantity. Okay, to choose what we have as a statement, as in our life, daily life, personal life, and also collectively, the society, and so on. What we want concretely. Okay, what's the percentage and what we want? Do we want exclusively a quantitative life, eating more junk food and so on, or just a little bit less organic and so on? This is metaphor, of course, not only for exclusively for food. Education. 44. This is the basis, the cement, the foundation of a new society is through education. That's what we are doing in the orphanage of Bali. What we are building as physical school and online school with empathy, intuition, creativity, self-development, project management. There is more than 20, so you can imagine gardening, nutrition, and so on. For kids are aware, and this is investing in the gray matter. What does it mean? The brain. And the fact that people are more autonomous, they know what they know themselves, and so on. And for have new generation with empathy, more tolerance, more let's say aware about life, and more respectful in general. So then also discernment. What does it mean? The lucidity. It's missing a lot. We are overwhelmed with the information, fake information, too many information, and so on and so forth. And most of people are lost. This is really difficult to be aligned and to keep control and to be closer to the truth. Okay, there is no absolute truth. There is only some of subjective realities, as I like to say. This is what Rumi say. Truth was like a broken mirror in the hands of God. He fell down, and everybody take a small piece and say all the truth is there. It's the same principle. Money, okay, the money is the energy. It's like an ego. It's a good servant for me and a bad master. If it's a finality and you are very cupid and you just want lawless person and so on, but it can be a source of creation. You can invest in beautiful projects, a charity, in a building, hospital, and so on. So money is not bad according to your using and your perception as well. Addiction. Why is so important addiction? Because most of us are addicted to something. Sex, game, stress, sadness, even, let's say conflicts. Can be anything, drugs, food, alcohol, and so on, of course. But just to visualize where you are, if you feel okay with that, and or if you think it's affect your life. Hypersensitivity. Why? Because there is 25%, depending on the survey, Western world, between 25 and 1/3, but probably in spirituality, people are more sensitive. Being more sensitive, they want to have more, they question more. So probably that even within spirituality and among your environment, maybe you know some of them. So it's just to understand this is a treasure when it's well managed, and it can be hell if it is just like a black hole absorbing you in the nothingness. Okay. The self-confidence is very important to be self-confident for everything, your project, love, and so on, for everything, because we are vibrating. If you don't like yourself, who would like to love yourself? And we feel it. It's energy once again. Intention, to show your intention for people and what's your objective and so on, to be clear with that, which is linked also to, after that, 52, empathy. Empathy is the capacity to understand the needs and the complexity of the person, and to show also the same from yourself. Oh, I perceive that, okay, I've been touched when you say to me that, and so on. This is the point. Then manage bad energies, okay? In Islam, it's said that 1/3 of the population will be killed through the bad eye, okay? By emission and reception. If you emit bad energy, you can be affected also, and those who receive, if they are not prepared, they don't have shelters and so on, is the same. Okay, manage critical dimension, jealousy, envy, and so on. Manage stress. This is killing. Stress is annihilating the good performance and so on. Okay, it can be good for motivating a little bit, but not too much. It's affect our health. Okay. Time management, okay, it's important. We are in a zapping, and a lot of people are frustrating and they don't know how to start with methodology. This is for giving methodology, some tips regarding time management to handle your own projects. Self-realization, self-actualization, which is the materialization of your mission, the meaning of the meaning of life, your mission of life, and so on. That's the point. Okay, so this is really important to have a methodology, to have objective and methodology with timeline and so on, and to split up and to have different options and so on and so far. Okay, because there are a lot of dreamers, but few doers, and this is good to have both combined. There is corrective action and so on and so forth. Okay, then humor. Yes, I do think that this is crucial, very important. We are in humor to survive, especially in difficult period of time of humanity in different delicate situations and so on. To survive, this is dramatic comedy or drama comic. This is up to you, but this is usually the feeling of people. Okay, so sometimes humor allows you to have a certain detachment of your own life, on your own behavior, and in general life. Sexuality, which is very important activation of energy, personal or with a partner, and this is a vital energy by practicing and or by fasting with it. Okay, And then we finish with the notion of, let's say, love, more focusing on the notion of couple to avoid frustration and so on, and to be in the self-realization and so on. Well, just to come back, you see, it's even less than 1 hour because actually I did an introduction before and so on. So it could be limited by that. But those who are just starting with this, I just say creativity is important. I didn't say how to be creative. Okay, that's the point. Okay, so if you want some elements, 20 or 30 different advice to be creative, I invite you to go to this video again. This is a deep training. This is a program, a training of reception and emission. That's why I invite you to revise them. There is 60 keys, okay? This is more than, there is 75 videos, okay? In English, I mean, okay, I try my best, excuse my French. This is almost 70 hours, of course, with a lot of information. This can be in digest. So I invite you also to read, to watch them 1, 2, 3 times. Why? Because even if they are independent, but they are connected as well. So try to establish some links and to see them. Sometimes I highlight them, and take notes. Take notes or set up, I don't know, a folder, special folders for that, and take what vibrates. This is a buffet, okay? A buffet for which take what vibrates of the food you like, which is good for your taste bud, which is good for your happiness, good for your health, if you consider that it is for your metabolism. Once again, there is no miracle recipe, there is only miracle adaptation. So, but let's try to take your time and so on. I invite you to do 1, 2, 3. Just one thing. If you do one, because it's good to digest, to let it go for a while, and then your unconsciousness and so on, you put in practice. If you do one by one, day by day, or you do 3 keys per day, you will not assimilate. That's the point. That's why also I recommend 3 times for really being to soak, to infuse literally, and to be for you. I mean, if it vibrates, of course, and take it out to what you don't like, but at the point. Well, and then if you're able to transmit that, to have this effort of transmission, because you have a clear mind, clear mindset, your ideas are clear and so on. It's the top, the peak of knowledge. Okay, that's the point. What about the future? Okay, to be frank with you, I established the 60 keys 1 year ago. We did 1 year. It's a lot of investments. Okay, it's roughly 1 key is something like 30 hours. When I see the results, I say to you, and especially in English, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed, and for a few months. So I knew that I will finish. For 1 year, I did my job. This is done. This is set up. I have backups if, I don't know, YouTube destroyed it and so on. I will always have them, okay, for different hard disks, and some people, I hope some people have also in backup, but they can reuse for them. They can reuse for teaching eventually. This is for free. Imagine the investment. And when I see there is almost no interaction in English, very few, let's say, views and so on, but not only for quantitative, the job is done. Okay, I hope I did my job. I planted, then it's blossoming, it's growing. It's also up to you to make it living. This is when we see a viral, polemic dimension, everybody is forwarding all the time and so on. Okay, when I see that at the return I have, honestly, I tell you, this is not emotional, let's say, this is not a stage, but I really thought for many months to stop it. Why? Because I said to myself, why? I prefer to give the 30 hours to kids, to humanity, to charity and so on, than for nothing. But the job is done. One day, some people, an influencer will watch that and they will like it and then give and so on, and people are gonna transfer it, and from one day to another it will be nothingness to, touching a lot of people, and some people will say he will be brilliant. It will not change from the future to now. Once again, also, this is very important, qualitative, quantitative. Me, I prefer definitely that people understood, apply, then, and even touching only one person is enough. I did my job. In addition of that, my mission, my transmission, in addition of that, I told you self-realization, the notion of intention. I say my intention now. I say my feeling and so on. I'm going to continue because I still have things to say, but I will take less time, probably, less invested. But I'm proud, humbly, I'm proud of what I did, because I did. Okay, I was a little bit ashamed to talk about books was okay, but some people push me and so on, so I did it. Okay, so at least it's done. A big part, consequent part, could be enough. I could stop now. It's already a big piece, a big cake. But I'm proud of that. This is self-realization, self-complacency. Is not lack of humility. It's just I'm proud of that, and I'm proud that I continue despite the difficulty of the fact I really have the feeling that people don't care. So that's humbly to show you that I'm still human, of course, like everybody, and but I continue, you see, and because there is something more pushing me, and when I say something more, is beyond of me. Okay, so we will see, we will practice, we will have different ways. I will just post one theme, very consequent theme, topic of 2-3 hours probably. I will split up like 30 minutes part 1, 30 minutes part 2, 30 minutes, and then within 1 month. Okay, like this, you will have one theme, one topic per month, and I will split up. Okay, maybe it will be less, more digest, but at least it will take more time for me, and I will adjust according to the direction. If people have some proposals, some people have, I'm aware for everything. I wanted to make it interactive. When I say realization, I propose human mark of the word, no zero return. In English, French, same. Okay, so of course I say why. Okay, but anyway, let's continue. We'll see, and maybe one day I stop, but at least I will have done it. I really invite you to think about all that, to visualize maybe as a menu what you want to watch as a priority and so on. Don't hesitate to take notes, to infuse, to sow, to share eventually with people, not for the pleasure that I have more views, I don't care about that, but at least for you all to reformulate to people, for them, for you to visualize if you master concretely. Sometimes we understand passively. You understood? Yeah? Okay. Okay, what did you understand? And then you try to explain and you didn't. Okay, so that's the point. But take the time you want. The inner journey lasts 1 year, one life, few life, okay, is endless, by the way. Okay, so I invite you to think about that. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome and to home, you see. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.